Okay, this is the day. We're going to uncover this thing and we're going to document the whole entire process of starting this hit and miss engines under here. Let's take a look. Okay, this is the coil that we tried before. It's not so good, so we're going to go ahead and disconnect this and grab the other good one. We had two really good ones that we got from eBay. For this test, we'll be using this Gen 2 Prius HV battery cell. We're only going to use one. I usually use two and have them wired up for 12-volt stuff. But this is a 6-volt coil. We only need the one. And it's I just tested the voltage on it. It's 7-point-something voltage, so it's going to be just fine. The wiring on this is really simple. The positive lead goes over to this side of the coil. And ground is supplied by this connection here, which goes through that switch up there, and it goes through this switch here as well. When those switches are both closed, you get spark. So when both that switch there and this one here are closed, we get spark. I don't know what they used in 1918. Heck, Model A from 1928 to 31 didn't have spark plug wires. They had just little strips of copper. So this little piece of wire is going to work out just fine. I want to make sure I don't run it near any piece of metal. But other than that, it should work just fine. So I stuck this can of gas up here, and we're going to run a fuel line from there down to here. That goes into here, which just goes straight into the engine and adjusted with a needle valve. That's the entire fuel control system. Adding oil to this, and we can open this here, and you can see here, drip, drip. I can speed that up or slow it down with the needle valve adjustment here. Drip, open, drip, 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 drip. So I'm going to put it so it drips just a little bit. It's going to give me enough to get that wet down there. I'm going to close it for now, but that should have some oil on the piston. I'm going to open this oil up and see if you can see it dripping there. One, drip, drip, drip. That's about where I think I'll set it. I'll close it for now. This engine is water cooled, but not like your engines of today with a radiator. This, you simply pour water in this hopper, which surrounds the cylinder, and the water, of course, gets hot and steams off and goes away, but then you just refill the water. Okay, here we go. Take this off the exhaust. I'm going to open the fuel needle valve half a turn, and we'll see what that does. Let me come around here, and I want to go backwards. No, I want to go, yeah. Well, we're going to go through this. That's how we do it. Okay, let's see if we can get some more fuel in there. Okay, so we're going to disconnect the spark at the negative lead here. We'll take off the spark plug lead. Let's pull this spark plug out. We'll take a look and see what it looks like. I feel it might be wet. Okay, 15/16. Let's see. Yeah, soaking wet. Let's run this thing. See if we can. Whoa, my gosh. a, yeah, a bunch of fuel just squirted out of that. Wow. What the heck is going on? This is shut off, isn't it? I mean, it's just pumping out gasoline. I don't like it because it's dried off some, but I was about to say I don't like it because we've got open spark here on that coil, so I've got to get this dried off. Now, I've let it sit for a little bit, and you can see that fuel is still dripping. That means that my needle valve is not closing completely. What if I tighten it a little more? I don't think so. I think we might want to do something with that because otherwise we don't have control. So I will mess with that. I'll take it apart. We'll fix that. We're going to take this off. First, we're going to disconnect the fuel line here. Let's get you off of here. I've been on there a really long time. There we go. Okay, you're off. And you're off. That's it. Let's take it in the shop and see what we can figure out. Not a lot to this. Just crack this loose. Take it out. Unscrew the needle valve. And let's take a look at what that looks like. You know, it looks awfully good. I do not see an issue with that. So, why does it not seat? I would have to assume there might be something wrong inside. Here's how we'll deal with that. Okay, before I go crazy and start doing something, let's put this back in. We'll run it all the way down there. It feels like it's seating. Nope, I think there's a tiny bit of leakage. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this thing out and run this drill bit, which just about fits perfectly in the hole, and very lightly, we'll start by hand, probably wind up using the drill, and just lightly see if we can, look at that. So we got some dirt and a tiny bit of metal out of there. Okay. Now let's see if she seats completely. Let's try some compressed air and see if I can hear it. So we'll blow some compressed air, see if we can hear any leakage. So I'm going to trust that. I think that's good. I think we just took that little tiny bit of dirt out and maybe just shaved a little tiny bit of metal, and we've got a good seat in there. So we'll put this back down, snug this down. Doesn't need to be real tight. That's a packing so the fuel doesn't come back out here, but you want it loose enough for this to turn. I'm good with that. Let's go hook it up to the fuel first and see, before we put it back on, and see if it leaks or drips or anything. We'll go ahead and stick this back on here and tighten that up where it's gonna go. Okay, so we want to start out when we have it closed of no fuel going in that tube. So I stuck the hose in the fuel can up there and blew into it. Let's open this. Oh yeah. So we've got fuel and it shuts completely off. I'm happy with that. So we'll screw this back on. put our fuel tank back up here so it doesn't shake off the engine. Oh, are we still throwing fuel on it here? Doesn't appear so. Okay. I'm gonna think we may have. Oh yeah, it did pump a little bit out, didn't it? So that hopefully will be a prime. Let's plug the spark plug in. Not fully tight for right now. We'll see if we've got it unflooded yet. Hold this open and run this and see. I don't get it. How can I have any compression at all? I got the intake valve held open. That's confusing. It's a mystery. Where's it all coming from? How can I have any compression with the intake valve held open? This valve down here is open. Makes no sense. It's very confusing. I'm going to take this off and see what's going on. Can be. Dumping fuel. Needle valve shut off. Well, here we are, sir. Totally flooded. It's not coming from here, that's for sure. Okay, I'm curious about something. Ah, this was left open. And look at that. This puppy is plugged. So that we need to clean out. More junk in here. Wasps, something like that, you know. Yep, that's what that is, huh? Okay, one step at a time. We'll get it figured out. You don't need to see me clean this out. I'm going to go clean it out. That's a pretty big pile of stuff that came out of there. I guess one of the cool things about getting old is, like I don't care if I'm happy to show my mistakes. I don't care. I mean, I care. What am I trying to say here? I don't care about showing my mistakes. Is what I'm trying to get at. We all do it, some more than others, and that's sometimes more than others for each of us. Okay, so we'll put this back together. Turn it around here, snug. We'll open it. Now my gas is still sitting up there feeding this, and to prove it, I crack this open a little bit and fuel comes out. Okay, so I'm happy with this. How much am I going to want? Let's see. Let's start it. Oh, it just barely cracked open. Yeah, a quarter of a turn is way too much. Okay, so we're just going to crack it open a little bit when it's time to start it. I'm sure I knew all of this before when I used to run it, but like I say, it's been a long time. Been a decade just sitting up here. It was longer where it was before that. Don't tighten one side first, bring it down equally. A little snug there. Okay, now we can tighten it. Okay. And there. Okay. That part's done. Let's hook up the ignition again. Oh no, let's tighten this spark plug. Okay, that should be plenty. Hook you up. Now, this wet stuff on the bottom normally wouldn't be an issue, except guess what? We got open points here. We don't need this sitting in a puddle of gas. So we'll want to dry that out either by waiting or by rag or blowing it off or something. I'm making sure this is as far away from any metal as possible so we can't jump. I mean, this is not the kind of insulation that you normally have on a high tension lead, so it could potentially jump to ground. So we want to give the spark plug the best chance of firing rather than the arcing across the outside. Now, last check. So this is ready. We've got fuel. We've got air open. Almost close. We've got air open. We've got spark when I connect that up. Okay, ignition is ready. Boom, fuel is ready. Cooling is ready. Everything seems to be ready. Air intake is open. Well, okay. So I'm thinking we don't have fuel or it's too wet. One of the two. Let's give it a shot. A little more open. That should be getting at gas. Let's find out if just doing this does it. Let's suck it in. It's fired a couple times. Let's try it. So let's give this thing another shot here. We've got fuel. We're going to open this just an eighth of a turn or less. Crack it open. Come around and see maybe more fuel. A little kick, a little bit, a little more, just a bit. I can feel it helping. The ear's open. Fuel is open. Oh, now we're okay. Now we're running fuel out of the intake. So I'm going to turn the ignition off, hold the valve open. Run. Yep, flooded. Run it around a couple times. Okay. So right to there. There should be fuel in there. And now we hope. Oh, yep. That was a little bit of a kick. No. Might still be flooded. A little fire. A little fire. It's a little kick. Little kick. Little kick. Here we go. No? Really? I think she's flooded. Now shut it off. Or is it? Yeah, it is off. She's probably wet enough to fire enough. Get it going though. Ignition off. Intake valve open. Pumping. Squirting gas out. Soaking wet. So we'll do the same thing we did before. Take the spark plug out. Yep. Soaking wet. Well, wet. So we come through here. So I guess I got to figure out a way to prime this thing that doesn't flood it. Spark plug back in. I know it looks like I'm really cranking down on this spark plug, but it's a short wrench and I'm old. It's not really tightening it all that tight. Spark plug wire back on. Tighten it down. Connect the ignition. Gasoline stays closed at this point. There we go. Come on, baby. You can do it. She's flooded. Come on. Crack open the fuel a little more. There's one. Dry out the spark plug again. Spark plug. Yep. Wet again. Okay, I want to see something here. I'm going to. Yeah, it appears as though I'm getting spark in there. What's it look like? Where's it sparking? Sparking inside, not down here. Let's clean that up. That's not where it's supposed to spark. It's supposed to spark out here at the end. I think it's carbon fouled, perhaps. Approach yet another issue. So I sprayed some carburetor cleaner in it, and then I'm just going to scrape the inside of here, see if I can get around there and loosen any carbon or anything that's in there. Okay, we'll try that. That's more how we want to see it. I put the spark plug back in after cleaning it. I've reconnected the spark plug wire. I have now connected both ends of my ignition. This is open. The fuel is closed because we think we're still wet in there probably. So let's give it a shot and see if she'll fire. If not, we'll come over and open some fuel up for it. Here we go. Okay, now I got to open some fuel. All right, that's it. That's it. It fires every once in a while. Goes too fast. The governor keeps the exhaust valve open. It lets the exhaust valve close. Bang. There she goes. One day maybe I'll make it power something. I never have. I just started and run it because I love it. Okay. I'm going to shut off the fuel. Watch and see exactly how much I've got. Close. Oh, there goes the ignition. I had it open about that far. That's it. And the ignition just fell. Yeah, you wouldn't, like I said, this was a temporary setup just to make it run. You would never, of course, leave it like that to use it. You'd mount the battery and you'd mount the coil and you'd mount the fuel with a shut off, of course. But I am stoked. I am happy. Yes, over a decade of sitting, a few little issues, but we figured them out and we got it running. I'm a happy camper. And so I will close this so we don't get a bunch of stuff in the end of that again. I will take this off again, this fuel thing, so that I can stop this leakage. It's just leaking around here. There's a packing inside here. So I'll either replace that or, because I've tightened it up and it's still leaking. It's almost the beginning of summer, so I won't bother removing all the water out of here. It'll evaporate over the summer and that'll be fine. Hopefully the oil won't all leak out, but if it does, no big deal. All it'll do is make everything wet. I will, however, make sure that this is right there, completely protecting the cylinder and the piston. And finally, I'll cap the exhaust so nothing gets in there. That's got everything pretty well closed up and protected. It can sit for another decade. You know, if I was proud, I probably wouldn't even show this video. 7 hours to get it running. Are you kidding? While we did have some interesting problems, I should have figured it out faster than that. I didn't. Bottom line is, I did figure it out. Persistence is important. But I should have figured out the two major things that took the most time. One, that the intake was plugged. You push the intake valve open and you get compression, duh, the intake is plugged. And second, that if you open the fuel to just a needle valve, the fuel's just going to pour in there. Duh. So the way to start this engine, once you have the intake opened, is to open the fuel, let it run for a few seconds and shut it off. Go around, start the engine, and once the engine starts on that prime, come around just like I did in the final video there, and open the fuel and get it right. Now, once you've got the needle valve set, that's just simply then a matter of opening the fuel, because you never want to touch that needle valve after it's set. And even with all the problems and stuff that I went through, I'm really glad I did it. It's it's good to have done this. And now I'm going to write up a paper that tells all the little details of how to run this engine. Bottom line is how to deal with the fuel. Everything else should be obvious. Thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.